Hello BookTube, this is Johnny, and I made a video late this morning on John Owen, the great Puritan divine of the 17th century. I just did that top of my head just because like I said, when I started doing BookTube, one of the reasons why I did it was to not only talk about books and collecting books and keeping a diary, but also I wanted to recommend Christian books because I didn't find anything on BookTube that really mentioned Christian writers or Christian literature, good evangelical, Bible-believing, God-honoring, Christ-glorifying kind of literature. So that's why one of the reasons why I'm on BookTube is to set forth good Christian literature. I was just down in the lower level listing on my video the books that I mentioned in that John Owen collection video, and when I listed all this stuff out, and I went to click it to save it, my computer downstairs, which is a laptop, disconnected. So I lost the whole thing and had to do it over a second time. So now my arm hurts. I'm tired. It is 9:27 at night on a Tuesday, September the 19th, 2017. It's too early to go to bed. I don't watch TV anymore. I was going to watch the PBS special documentary in Vietnam, but I'm watching it with my wife, and she's not home tonight because she's working, and so I'd rather watch it with her than watch it by myself. So yeah, so I thought, what could I do? It's too early to go to bed. My arms hurt. I can't write in my diary. I don't feel like listening to any kind of death metal. I don't feel like messing with the main computer. When I was down in the lower level, going through my John Owen books, I came across this little book. This is a Banner Truth book. It's called The Christian's Great Interest by William Guthrie. You can see it's all beat up. The reason why it's beat up is I used to carry it around in my little backpack way back in my California days. This came out, this was published, see it has a little stamp on it, from the Library of John Keene. I used to have a stamp. I used to stamp my books with the Library of John Keene. I don't do that anymore, but this came out in 1969. It was first published in 1658, the Free Presbyterian Church of Scotland. And it's one of my favorite little Christian books. That's why I used to carry it around in my little backpack. I used to, like I said, I used to carry around my Bible, that clipboard I've shown you, and I used to write in my diary on that clipboard. And I would take books with me, and I carried this book around for years. And when I was going through my library collecting my books on John Owen, books on his life or his theology, I came across it. It's really a wonderful little book. So I thought I'd mention to you, The Christian's Great Interest, William Guthrie. I thought about reading parts of it, but I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do in this video that I plan to download before I go to bed tonight is that yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I had to go pick up a prescription at the Family Fair, the little grocery store up the road from where I live. And while I was out doing that errand, I stopped at the Book Nook to pick up some books that I saw last Friday that I didn't buy, and I decided to buy them. So I went to the Book Nook, our local library used bookstore, And I wanted to get these books before they sold because I won't be volunteering at the Book Nook until this coming Friday from 10 to 1, and I was afraid that somebody might buy these before my time came to volunteer, so I went and I bought them at the Book Nook. And this is one of the books I bought, The German War, A Nation Under Arms, 1939 to 1945, Citizens and Soldiers by Nicholas Stargardt. I bought that. I'm kind of interested in the Second World War, especially Germany, because it comes up a lot in my reading when I'm reading British literary history about the First World War and the Second World War and Germany and Hitler and Europe. And I saw this book Sunday when we went down to the local independent bookstore here in Holland, and it was going for $35. And I thought, well, I could go to the Book Nook and get it for $5. I thought it was an older book, but this is a brand new book. I think it just came out. Let me see here. It came out. Well, no, it's not a new book. It came out in 2015, but I never saw it, so I got that. And then I saw this book at the Book Nook that I saw. It just came out in paperback. The Wonder, a novel by Emma Donoghue. I collect her. She's very famous for her novel, The Room. I think was made into a movie. And then I picked up this biography at the Book Nook, The Heretic in Darwin's Court, The Life of Alfred Russel Wallace. This is a biography written by Ross A. Slotten. I've been looking at this biography. It was in the, I like 19th century biography. This guy, obviously he lived, I don't know when he was born, but I think he lived, let me see here. He was born in 1823 in Uska, Wales. So I like 19th century biography, so I got that. So what else did I pick up there? Oh, I picked up this at the Book Nook. Devil May Care, new James Bond novel, Sebastian Faulks. I collect the novels of Sebastian Faulks, or Faulks, writing as Ian Fleming. That's why I got this, because I collect his writings. I have at least 6 of his novels in our library. So I picked that up at the Book Nook. So after I went to the library, the used bookstore at the library, I had to go get my prescription. So as I was going up the street to the Family Fair pharmacy, I passed 2 thrift stores, and I found this book at Action House, American Nations, The History of the 11 Rival Regional Cultures of North America by Colin, Woodard. See, notice the map up here. You have the left coast, the far west, the First Nation, the New France, the Midlands, Yankeedom, the Better Appalachia, the Deep South, El Norte, the Middlelands. There was a time in America when it wasn't just the Republic, United States of America. Way back in the 18th and 19th century, there wasn't this idea of the United States. The country, there was people migrated in different parts, and you had different culture, different languages, different customs, different ways of living. So I got that. And then I picked up, what else? I picked up this novel. I never heard of this guy. Charles Yu, How to Live Safely in a Science Fictional Universe. That kind of intrigued me. And then I collect the novels of Philip Kerr, This is historical fiction called The Shot. America, 19... I'm going to read the back here of The Shot. America, 1960. John F. Kennedy has just been elected president, but the Cold War is close to a boiling point. The arms race is at an all-time high, and the Soviet Union has beaten America into space. Anti-communist fever is rampant, and paranoia about Castro's Cuba is running high. The mafia also have a problem with Castro, and they have no scruple about hiring Tom Jefferson, America's best assassin, to kill him. But Jefferson has his own agenda and his own target, much closer to home. So I got that. What else? So I got those at the library used bookstore. I think it was Monday I picked them up. And then I went down to Goodwill. You have Goodwill, and then after I go to Goodwill, I cross the street and I go to Family Bar Pharmacy. And I found, what did I find? Oh, I found this. Just one little book. This is Dusklands by J.M. Coetzee. I collect him. He's a South African writer. These are novellas. Somebody left their little bookmark in here. Look deep into the eyes of nature and everything will make sense. So yeah, so I got that. Oh, the sale stuff, I paid 60 cents for this little book. Oh, when I showed you this book, American Nations by Colin Woodard, I have another book of his that I picked up a while back at a thrift store, The Lobster Coast, Rebels, Rusketeers, and the Struggle for Forgotten Frontier by Colin Woodard. So I have 2 books by him now. So I picked this up, Dusklands, and then after I got my prescription, I was coming home, and I stopped at Bibles to Mexico, and I picked up, I think I just picked up, can't remember, I picked up something else. Oh, I picked up these 2 books. I picked up John Brown, The Making of a Martyr by Robert P. Warren. He's famous for his novel, All the King's Men. I have a large Robert P. Warren collection. He wrote a lot of books. He was a man of letters. He was a critic, a poet. He wrote novels. And he wrote this biography on John Brown, The Making of a Martyr. This is in the Southern Classics series. So I picked that up. And then I found this biography on C.S. Lewis, Jack C.S. Lewis in His Times by George Sayer. So I got those at Bibles to Mexico, and then I came home. But my wife was out with her 2 cousins, and they were going to thrift stores. And so my wife goes to a thrift store. She looks at the used books for me, and she'll call me on her cell phone and says, do you have this, or do you want this, and blah, blah, blah. And she asked me. Well, she bought me this book, Patriots, the Vietnam War, which is Remembered from All Sides by Christian J. Appy. It's like an oral history of the Vietnam War. And she picked me up this book by Tom Brokaw, Boom, talking about the 60s, what happened, how it shaped today, lessons for tomorrow. My wife knows I collect the books on the 60s, and it comes with a DVD. So she got me that, and she picked up My Struggle, Book 1 by Carl Off Klosengard. I have this, but I don't have it in this edition. I have Book 1, Book 2, Book 3, Book 5.